Hey everybody, welcome back here to a video. So this is finally my review of Doom the Dark Ages. I am gonna note at the very beginning of this video, there's gonna be spoilers in this review, as the title of the video is gonna say. So this is a poll like a while ago if you guys wanted me to include story spoilers, and you guys voted, and so yes, there's gonna be spoilers in this video. So if you have not finished the game, I'll include a timestamp so you can just skip the story section if you have not finished the game yet. So I'd say it's safe to now because the game's been out for a little over a month now. So I think it's safe to, but so just with that out of the way, let's get started. We're going to start right off the bat with the combat of the game. Start with the Slayer combat itself. First, there are 11 guns in the game, and they are the Combat and Super Shotguns, the Shred and the Impaler, your Accelerator and Cycler, Pulverizer and the Ravager, Chain Shot, Grenade Rocket Launchers. Before we get into melee weapons, there is also one final. This is the big one. This game's version of the BFG, which is now called the BFC. It's a ballistic force crossbow is what they call it. And how it works, like where you have to be more deliberate with your shots, where you aim it. And how the weapon works, like you have to be, you have to be like precise sometimes with your shots. Because with the BFG, it was just spread out. You know, that kind of thing. But in this game, it's not like that. And also, you cannot use your shield slot while you're wielding the BFC. So keep that in mind. But other than that, though, I really like the BFC. It's pretty damn powerful. How you get ammo is that they're just spread out throughout the world after Mission 14, because that's where you get the weapon. So keep that in mind. So it's not like you can just pick them up off of fallen enemies like any other gun in the game. It's a very special case. So yeah, that's how the BFC works. Okay, continue on. We're going to move on to melee weapons now. There are 3 melee weapons as well, which is the Dread Mace, the Gauntlet, and the Flail. And then finally we have the shield saw, which that's a melee weapon even of itself, because you can throw it or you can use it to just bash your way through enemies for massive damage, especially or in outright kills, certain enemies, especially fodder ones. Everything is totally upgradable. That gives each weapon a new trait. It's not as restrictive as Doom Eternal, where you needed a specific weapon for certain demons. There are also runes that you can actually use to upgrade your shield saw. Like for instance, right? Runes like shield give special traits like the ability to shock enemies with a thunderbolt when you parry, or you can send arrows back at enemies. All four are very useful. You get cater them to your specific playstyle, which is nice. So I really like that. So continuing that Doom tradition from Doom 2016 all the way to now with Doom the Dark Ages, where runes is a mainstay nowadays of these new Doom games. So those are the rune upgrades. Now you want to know how to upgrade your health and ammo and armor? Well, here you go. This is how you do it. Well, your goal when you want to upgrade, in certain levels, there's these things called leader demons. How it works, basically, is where these giant enemies that have, like, way more health than normally, and how you eliminate them is you have to take down, essentially kill enough fodder enemies in the area to the point, like, where their shields take it down, and then that's when you can start dealing damage to the enemy. Once you take out the enemy, you essentially pull the core out of their body, and that's kind of how you unlock the upgrade. In the icon above their head will tell you what kind of upgrade you will get once you kill them. So in this clip right here, killing a cyber demon, and this is how I get one of my health upgrades. So that's kind of how it works. That's how you get your health, armor, and ammo. Simple enough, right? So yeah, I mean that's that's basically everything to cover when it comes to the Slayer combat. And how do I feel about the whole thing? I love it, especially when I wrap my head around how everything works and everything. Use all the tools I have at my disposal to my advantage. I also like how heavy the Slayer is in movement. Yes, you can sprint now, but every time you move, it's like you feel heavy. Like even when jump down from a distance, and if there's near fodder enemies nearby, it will outright just essentially sends them flying, which is pretty darn awesome with how heavy the Slayer is in this game. So they literally a definition of it, truly. Like where you're heavy but still fast. Now with that the Slayer combat out of the way, let's move on to the next section of the combat, which is the Outland, the mech. I like the Outland gameplay. I like it despite how heavy you are in this thing. You could still sprint like normal, and instead of parry, you get dodge instead, and that builds up a meter once you've filled. You can do these finishes that could take out a Titan completely, or if armored, you can easily just wipe out their armor. Then you have to build up the meter again to fully take down the Titan. So that's kind of how it works. There are also weapons as well. There are two guns you can essentially use in this thing, which is a heavy machine gun. Then the other one is essentially a shotty, pretty much. So a heavy machine gun and a shotgun are guns for this one, at least for the main Titan anyway. But so yeah, now with that, so yeah, I mean that's the outline in a nutshell. I like it. It was definitely something that id Software has been building towards 3 games now. So, which is pretty darn awesome. You could tell the inspiration because of, the creative director, Hugo Martin, was involved in the Pacific Rim franchise. So, if you haven't seen that movie, I would recommend it. Anyway, moving on from this, let's move on to the final part, which is the dragon. Now, for the dragon. Is it just me, or is the dragon gameplay a little similar to Halo when it comes to the Banshee gameplay of the Halo series? At least that's just my opinion anyway. Maybe that's just how I would compare it. Maybe because I'm a big Halo fan as well. So maybe that's kind of where it's coming from. But you kind of get my point, right? I do like the dragon gameplay overall. How it works is you have to take out these shield turrets, and once you do that, you can land on these ships and fight inside as the Slayer itself to take out the demons inside and eventually destroy the core of the ship with a shield bash. There are also these titans when you're on the dragon you can kill for an execution. It's pretty darn awesome. Where one of them where you could just spit fire right into his mouth and outright annihilate him, which is pretty darn awesome as you could see in the footage. I get tired of seeing that. It's just pretty freaking awesome. Now, the dragon gameplay I feel is the weakest part of the game, but it's still pretty good to play, I feel. The reason I feel it's still weak because I feel it can be limiting in how you can move around when you're locking onto an enemy. But I understand what id Software was going for with that aspect. So, just summing up, I think the combat overall of Doom the Dark Ages is amazing. I hope they continue the medieval setting for gameplay like this, but make it even better and fine-tune things overall, like with the dragon, as I talked about. Should the dragon gameplay ever return in Doom? Now with that out of the way, let's get into the next segment of this review, which is the art direction. I love the art direction of Doom the Dark Ages. It's more dark and gritty. I say it's closer to 2016 and less colorful like Doom Eternal, which I prefer honestly because it's more fitting for the setting of this game in particular. I still love Doom Eternal, don't get me wrong. I just prefer the more dark and gritty, look that Doom the Dark Ages and Doom 2016 had. That's just a personal preference of mine. But I still love Eternal, like full stop. Anyways, so yeah, you can really tell that id Software's art is absolutely cooked with this one. id Tech 8 really shines here. And also id Software, in a future update, please add a proper photo mode. You guys did it for 2016 and Eternal. I would hope that you guys, plan on doing the same thing with Dark Ages in the future. Because this game is just screaming for it, in my opinion. So, here's hoping. Now, let's go on to the next part of this review, which is the level design. Now, the level design, I would describe as a more expensive version of Eternal, as these levels are huge with tons of exploration while not open world, which I'm glad id Software did not go that route. I really like what they did here. They expanded what 2016 Eternal did while being its own thing, with using the shield to reach locations you couldn't before while not having the meat hook or the double jump, because the double jump were in both 2016 and Eternal. You don't have the double jump, and the meat hook in Doom Eternal is not here. So yeah, you just use the shield to kind of get to high places. So there you go. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the next section, which is the story. Talk about it right here is that, like I said in the intro, here's a timestamp to skip this section, okay? Okay, let's dive in. The game begins with the demons attacking the village of Kalim. This is our introduction to how the makers control the Slayer. I like how they use the Slayer in what will turn the tide against the demons once you start out. Once you clear out the village, we get a view of how at this moment in time, the Sentinels view the Slayer, which King Novik said, "He's not one of us." Which is referring to the Slayer. So, because remember, Slayer, essentially in these new Doom games, come from like a whole different dimension. So, next up, we head to Hibis, which, if you remember, was in Doom Eternal, which is in the core of Mars. Once you protect their defenses, you get to access the outland, and must stop the core from overloading and exploding at a safe distance. Next up, you help defend the Sentinel barracks, and after that, Prince Azrac attacks the Holy City of Atrium. This is the exact first Doomslayer, Dragon mission, excuse me. He's looking for an ark that stores the heart of energy. This is very important to the story. Very important story, so keep that in mind. Then Novik secured it. Then Azrac's next move is to launch an attack on a Sentinel stronghold. At this point, the Slayer breaks free of the Maker's control, as I think we all expected to not last very long. Later on in the game, the command center of the Sentinel is attacked. Once you help secure the interior, you head outside with your dragon to help the final push to protect the exterior. After this point, a giant dragon from the cosmic realm shows up and pulls there and Maker Creed into the cosmic realm. Slayer then frees the old one, which aka Cthulhu, to gain access to the cosmic realm. At this point in the game, your objective is to simply locate her and rescue her. Along this journey, you get swallowed by the old one, which this mission in particular kind of reminds me of the Flood mission from Halo 3. So again, another Halo comparison I've kind of noticed. Maybe that's just me though. But eventually you have to fight your way out, and once you do find Thera, this is where the massive twist comes in. At this point, where it's revealed that Thera holds the spirit of a Wraith, which, keep in mind, a Wraith did help create the Praetor armor for Doom Slayer, as we all know from Doom 2016 and so on, right? Anyway, at this point, once you find her, it holds such immense power that can rival the power of the Slayer himself. Here is fully revealed that Creedmaker has truly indeed sold out, at least for the Slayer to find out, because early in the game, they kind of tease us with the point of where he truly did sell out to Azrak. So, at this point, Creed thinks that they should just kill the Slayer, but Azrak thinks that they should just keep Slayer locked away in the Cosmic Realm to make Sentinels think that he's dead, only for the Slayer to use the chain the Maker's head on him as explosive to set himself free from the Cthulhu-like figures that are holding him hostage, only to be killed by acid, below where the ground fell. Then he wakes up in the underworld of hell as the zombie Slayer, yup, they made that skin from Dimensional now canon, which is pretty darn awesome. Your goal now is to board the ship that houses the souls that determine their place in hell. Slayer takes control of it and uses it to bust your way back to Mortal Realm, as the Sentinels perform a ritual to bring it back to life. And Slayer then helps fight back and eventually takes down the Creed Maker as they beg for help for Azrak to no avail. Then after you kill Creed Maker, you head straight for Azrak for a ritual combat, as Azrak reveals that he cannot be king of the demons as long as the Slayer lives. After a little while, Slayer is wounded actually, and Surret, his dragon, gets involved and actually sacrifices him to buy Slayer time. And Slayer wipes the floor with Azrak. I gotta say, these demons, they do not learn. You do not fuck with things that mean something to the Slayer. The power of that Slayer, that Azrak is taken back from him to Thera, once she is set free of captivity while Azrak flees back to hell. The story concludes with the Slayer and Thera and various Sentinels invading hell, and the Slayer finishes off Azrak once and for all. As the Hell Priests and demons walk away, Slayer takes control of Creed's ship after he kills Azrak and uses it to terrorize hell. And that right there is the ending of Doom: The Dark Ages. So how do I feel about the story? I like this one better in terms of storytelling over Eternal. Especially because of how the lore is taken right into the cutscenes. Solid job on it, and it has a satisfying conclusion, but still leaves questions that I hope the DLC answers, such as who is the witch that's been helping Azrak this whole time? We don't know who she is or anything like that. She doesn't have a name or anything. We just call her the witch, essentially. Maybe the DLC answers that question, because she essentially, her physical form was killed. Like, the actual character is not dead. Just her physical form was. So I wonder, so it's going to be interesting to see where they take the DLC from this point on. Maybe the DLC could lead into, like, where the demons drop that huge bunny on top of Slayer, and that's how he gets healed, leading up to 2016. But I guess time will tell, right? Time will tell, I guess. But anyways, moving on from that. Before we wrap up the game, I want to give a quick shout out to Finishing Move, who did the wonderful soundtrack. Yes, it's not Meg Gordon, but take a listen. I think they still did a fantastic job. So yeah, once again, shout out to Finishing Move. I think they did a great job. I would like for them to do the music for the DLC too, which I'm sure they are. I'm sure. So kudos to them. I think they did a solid job, and it's a solid addition to the traditional fantastic music for the Doom series. Okay, let's get into the conclusion. My phone says that it's all for absolute cook with this one, proving once again that they want the absolute best when it comes to first-person shooters. If I were to put a number on it, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. So to rank the trilogy, I'm going to go with Dark Ages 2016. I go back and forth between 2016 and Dark Ages in terms of the top two, with Eternal number 3. All absolutely banger games in their own right. So that's all I gotta say about this game. What did you guys think of Doom the Dark Ages? Let me down in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you again for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, have a good one.